Hi, I'm Mindy Wyke, and this is Work in Progress. It's a podcast where we will be talking all about human development in tech. In the tech world, WIP stands for Work in Progress. It's often used for pull requests, merge requests, and sometimes even technical documentation that is still in draft mode. It's not quite finished yet. And let's be real, we are not quite finished. Humans are always in draft mode. This podcast is about the real, the messy, the human side of working in tech. I'll be talking with engineers, but also designers, product folks, customer support, coaches, and people from all over the tech world about what they are learning about, struggling with, building, and becoming. But ultimately, we are not here to showcase perfection. We're here to normalize growth, share stories, and remind each other that being a work in progress is exactly where we are supposed to be. So let's commit to curiosity and jump into it. Hello, welcome back to the Work in Progress podcast, where we are talking about human development in tech. With me today is Colin Lacy / Colin J Lacy. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Colin Lacy. I'm a software developer at Cisco. I've been doing this for 17 years, mostly in the recent years focused on cloud engineering and cloud native, but I still do write applications from the ground up every once in a while, mostly in Golang. So that's me in a nutshell.
So when did you get into cloud engineering? Did you say that? Did I miss that?
No, I did not say that. So I got into it in 2018. I was working at GE, and it became pretty evident that cloud was going to be a thing going forward, right? That's when I guess I hadn't seen it personally, but companies were clearing out data centers and moving everything to the cloud. So I decided, all right, I'll get certified in one of these things. AWS was my cloud of choice at the time.
Well, I think you chose correctly. It's very popular,
and I
as you know.
Kind of haven't looked back. AWS is pretty much still my cloud. Thanks.
Yeah. So then it sounds like over the course of 17 years, based on our earlier conversation before we started, it sounds like you've learned a lot of different languages, because you mentioned Golang. I think you told me you've learned Rails. You're currently working with AI infrastructure. Like, you've been kind of all over the place over 17 years. So I guess what has been your favorite thing so far?
Golang is my favorite language. I really like it a lot. So for a long time, I was a JavaScript developer. I actually worked on the front end. So I resonate better with functional programming than object-oriented. And to me, Golang strikes the right balance between functional and object-oriented. So it's one of the big perks. I do like the typing system, like it's not as strict as something like Java, where you have to define on the same line 3 times what type of thing you're going to write. I really like the way Golang handles it, but it's still strict at the end of the day. Can't change types. In general, Golang, wonderful language. Highly recommend.
Yeah, and I bet you that's to some degree probably why TypeScript is revamping to be written in Golang, right? Do I have that right? Yeah.
Oh, cool. Neat.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
A couple of months
abandoned
ago,
the front end a long time ago.
Well, a couple of months ago, the guy who created it released that they're rewriting like the compiler. Let's not get into that, because I don't know if I have all my facts right, but I know they're rewriting like the thing that makes TypeScript in Golang.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. Typing,
yeah, it is cool.
It's fast.
Nice.
Yeah,
it is fast.
It is fast. So I've heard. It's on my list of things to learn one day.
Okay, that's legit.
Cool.
It's not my most recent. My most recent was Python. I got to
the
Cisco,
most recent addition.
The most recent addition to my, I guess, lexicon.
Okay.
When I got to Cisco, I felt like I was the only person in the entire company that didn't know Python. Like, it's just, it was one of those like, wow, they really bought into Python here. So I figured, all right, I should probably pick this up.
I'm finding that, so we'll get to this in a little bit. So I shifted not too long ago. So of course, JavaScript was my natural go-to, as a lot of people are in this like period, this phase. But my new job, we're using a lot of Next, so that's something that I'm
Mm,
working on. I mean, still using JavaScript and all,
right.
JSON and stuff, um, but it's just a new atmosphere for me to learn.
Yeah.
So new and different. But yeah, so me bringing up the career shift, we were talking earlier about your career shift, which feels like a while ago, but also wasn't a while ago. Do you want to share with us a little bit about that journey, especially as a lot of people are doing that now, like this
Yeah.
career shift, and running into a totally different atmosphere than it was several years ago?
In 2008, I got a job in restaurant marketing, and I was immediately bad at it, like very obviously not good. And I tried as much as I could, and like, okay, maybe it's this marketing job that I'm bad at. Well, I interviewed for other marketing jobs. I didn't get any of them, so it's like, no, everyone agrees I'm really bad at this. So I started that transition in late 2008. Like, okay, this isn't going to work out, and oddly enough, it was that job that got me into tech because they hired someone in their 20s, younger than most people in the office, so that someone could go figure out the email marketing that they all knew
Yeah.
they had to start doing.
Yep.
And that's what they
That
told
sounds
me. It
familiar.
was right, right. So it was go figure this out. You have no resources, right? It
Hmm.
was just me and Google. We are gonna figure out what I needed to do. So I bought an HTML book, HTML and CSS, and I learned how to build websites. Didn't learn email marketing because that was using a very primitive form of HTML at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I learned how to build websites. I started doing it for fun, for friends, and then I learned WordPress over the next couple of years. Built WordPress sites. That was all the rage. Um, and then in 2013, a coworker who had just gotten laid off from our company, she was like, "Why are you not doing this full time? You need to like you hate your job." Because so I was 5 years into this job, I was very bad at it. She's like, "You hate your job. You're not going to climb the ladder. Like, get out of this. Go do the thing that you like." Um, so I applied for a job at a college. This was in New Orleans, so it was Loyola University in New Orleans. They had a front end job on their marketing team, just to
Hmm.
build the front end of the college website, and I got it, and that was it. So it went from freelancing nights and weekends, WordPress sites, to doing front end. From there, I went to GE again as a front end. During my time at GE, transitioned to back end slash cloud, um, and never looked back.
Never looked back. Nice.
Yeah,
Well, what drew you to the back end then? If you started out so front end heavy, like what
yeah.
what sparked your interest, or why did it
Um,
happen?
so I mean, when I started, there was always this feeling of everyone knows more than me,
Yeah.
because I was self taught, and so when I learned HTML, it was cool. Look at all this stuff I can do. But then here was this WordPress thing, and then so I had to learn WordPress, and then here was this Rails thing that was going to replace all the WordPress. It didn't, but
Hmm.
that was the thought at the time. Right. I
Yeah.
even had a client once tell me like, "I won't hire you unless you build my site in Rails." And I'm like, why? Because Twitter was built in Rails. So
Therefore,
um,
it is the end all be
therefore,
all.
I exactly. So I learned Rails, and then um, I just kept on feeling like, all right, there's so much I don't know. Once I got to GE, it was Java. Like I was surrounded by Java developers. When I was hired, I was one of three front end developers, 200 Java developers,
Wow.
and so it was pretty clear there was a lot I did not know. Um,
Yeah.
so that's what made me want to learn more about the back end, how it worked. Um, and so as I learned more, and especially as I got closer to the cloud infrastructure, I noticed things move a lot slower. And
Mhm.
I got really tired of the like breakneck speed and competition and sometimes antagonism that comes with working in the front end. And I was an Angular guy. We were constantly at war with the React guys, and then here comes Vue.js telling us we're all doing front end wrong. And I don't even
Yep.
know how that's going these days because I 2018, I was like, I told my manager, I was like, I'm not doing front end anymore. Let's find something else for me to do.
Well, that's a question I was going to ask you. So we're moving on from the front end. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been
Fair.
2017, but it was around there. And so
Yeah.
at the time, we had no one on our team who knew cloud, and he knew I was getting my AWS certification. So he was like, "We have work for you. Like we have work." So it was actually a pretty easy transition.
Yeah, it seems like it's at least from my interpretation, it seems like there are not nearly enough cloud engineers, if you will, like, or people seem to think that it's this like nebulous, vague, like magic that happens.
Hmm.
Yeah. Ha-
Yeah,
I guess we talked earlier, well, I don't know if you want to talk about the podcast on here or not. How do you feel
yeah, we
about
can
that?
talk. Yeah, I can talk about it. Yeah. So I did have a we'll say on hold attempt. I'm not going to say failed attempt because that would be
I
right.
like
I'm
that.
I'm not ready to say that. So it's an on hold attempt at a podcast. Me and a friend of
Yeah.
mine. It was her idea. Um, and the idea was cloud architecture therapy with the goal of letting people know it's okay to not understand this stuff at first pass, second pass, 18th pass. Like it's hard. Cloud engineering is hard.
Yeah.
So and you're right, there are not enough cloud engineers. There are just not enough people who know this stuff. And the people who do are burnt out.
Yeah,
there's
I can imagine.
there's just a ton of work. Security tickets, compliance, keeping the lights on, scalability,
Mhm.
things change, right? There's
I was
vulnerabilities
just
that
gonna
pop
say
up.
things are always changing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even budgets, right? There was
Mhm.
a time
Yeah.
when it was move us to the cloud because everything's cheaper. Now it's move us back to the data centers because everything's too expensive.
Yeah.
So,
There's always going to be this shift, I think. That's interesting. Yeah, I've been personally working on just learning DevOps in general, cloud engineering, because I'm
okay.
curious. But yeah, I get the sense from the little limited experience that I have that there's just not enough. So I'm, I guess, glad to hear I'm right, but also not glad to hear that that's the case because it has enabled like my experience with DevOps engineers has enabled me to deploy with like the click of a button.
Mhm.
So it's very useful
It
if we
is.
could get more people. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's probably harder now than it was for me. I say this about a lot of things because there's so much noise on the internet and LinkedIn
Yeah.
about like you're learning DevOps right now. That's great. Continue to learn DevOps, right? But I see all the
Hmm.
time DevOps is dead. It's like no, it's not. Like that's bad. People should not say that.
Yeah.
And it's usually part of a marketing pitch, but no, DevOps is very much still alive. You should learn DevOps. That's great.
I will keep going. Don't worry.
All right.
It's slow and steady. But it's learning. Um, so actually you mentioned that you've been learning AI infrastructure. Is that part of like the cloud engineering DevOps type stuff? Or
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me more about that.
Yeah, I will talk to you about the goal. I cannot
Sure.
I'm in the early phases of being able to talk about what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I been
Aren't we
been doing
all?
cloud and right. I've been doing cloud for quite a few years now. So it's only natural that as AI workloads need development environments, staging environments, and production environments, so the cloud seems to be a go-to for that. Um,
Yeah.
The challenge is that it's not the same. It's for the most part not the same as the application lifecycle of like a microservice, where
Yeah.
you build it locally, test it in isolation, test it in integration, and then good, it's running, and we observe it, and it's fine. Um, One of the biggest things that still seems to be a really nebulous topic is how you observe the performance of your model because your microservice, right? There's some standard rules there of hey, it's slowing down. Maybe the load's too much. Maybe it's short on memory, right? You kind of have
Yeah.
these knobs you know how to just tweak to make
Yeah.
things better. With AI, it's okay. My model that used to be able to create a short synopsis of something now creates a 3-page synopsis. Same model. Why is it doing that?
Yeah.
And it's so you have to measure all of the things you are already measuring, like performance, and making sure it's not overheating, making sure it's not crashing, but also now it's like keeping track of model output drift. That's a big
Yeah.
deal, and triggering
That's
retrainings. And Go ahead.
And that's part of AI infrastructure as well. It's not just
It,
the people who are developing the AI
it,
models.
it's, you have to provide the observability for that,
Okay,
right?
okay,
And going
okay.
back to DevOps, right?
Hmm.
DevOps is dev plus ops. So we're
Right.
we're working together and talking to each other. Now it's AI ops. So it's the AI engineers plus ops, and they are talking totally different languages. And
Yeah.
it's brand new for me. A lot of the things that they're talking about, never heard. So, it's very intimidating, and there's a lot I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's very refreshing to hear someone who's 17 years in still feels that. That sort of like I don't maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but like maybe a little bit of overwhelm, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of like, here we go again.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. 100%.
And I guess it doesn't go away. Does it get easier? That's a good question that I have.
I guess what gets easier about it is, when you've done it enough times, it's just a matter of time and patience,
Yeah.
right? And not that there's no standard rule for how much time or how much patience, right? We're all bringing our own brain into the conversation, but um, I've I've gotten past enough hurdles, that I know that I will get past this hurdle too.
Yeah.
And when I do, I'll have a better understanding. I'll be able to do things that I can't right now. Solve problems for my teammates, solve problems for my business, right? That I need to eventually learn how to solve. That's the part that makes it easier, is just the confidence that, okay, this part's terrifying, but I'll get past it.
I like that. Oh my gosh, that feels too real. Um, so along the same lines of the AI infrastructure you've been working on, you mentioned that you've also been learning MCP. Um, I'm still not very well versed in that, but would you mind like elaborating on what that means for you?
Yeah. So, well, what it means for me, it is probably not what it means for a lot of people. MCP for me is, I mean, it's which part, like, what is MCP, or what is it, or how am I approaching it?
Whatever you want. I guess both. Yeah. So, because you are coming from my perspective, a little bit of a unique side of things. So, yeah, I guess what does it mean to you? And yeah, like how is it tied into what you're learning? I guess if
Yeah.
that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So MCP is, for the most part, you can think of it as how a model will talk to data sets, right? And
Mhm.
each data set being kind of isolated, not fully, but kind of isolated, right? It's how does the model know which data set to pull information from when it's going to respond to a prompt? Um,
Yeah.
and MCP it's in a weird spot. So at this point, it's like, this is what it's like to be early to the party, where you're watching things constantly change and it's impossible to keep up. So like, if you were to look up an MCP blog from 6 months ago, it's already out of date.
Yeah.
And I've seen plenty of times on LinkedIn within the past week or two, MCP's dead. Don't even bother. It's A to A
Oh,
now,
really?
agent to agent. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I buy that, but, um,
Doesn't
and
MCP like sort of enable agent to agent though?
so
If I'm understanding
I
it
haven't,
correctly?
I haven't graduated to A to A yet. So maybe,
Okay.
but,
Yeah. I
it,
have no idea what I'm talking about, so
it's okay. So, but I mean, like, 9 months ago, no one even heard of MCP. It's been around for, plenty of time, but it hadn't become as popularized as it is now. I mean, I've got project managers telling me I should be, deploying more MCP servers. I'm like, okay, that's where we're at. Non-technical people are telling me what to do. So it's definitely gained traction.
do you think
But
it's also like throw more MCP servers at the universe? Is it a little bit of that too? Just like
I think it's got
we
that
just want to be
buzzword
here? Yeah.
aspect to it, where it's like, oh, we need more cowbell. Definitely, that's the
Hmm.
solution here. Um,
Yeah.
but I do, I mean, it's a really big topic that I think is just unfortunately summarized in three little letters,
Yeah.
and even three little words that aren't, very clear as to how broad of a topic it is. So, and
Yeah.
how, how, I guess, how careful you have to be when you build those servers. You can build a small MCP server pretty easily. But there's a lot more that goes into it. Like RBAC was just integrated. my understanding is RBAC was just integrated into the protocol. That's a big deal, right? You want to be able to make sure, or no, federated authentication. One of those two was just
It's
integrated
a
into the
big
protocol.
thing.
It
A
is
big
a
thing
big
with that.
deal, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm still learning as it evolves. It's evolving very quickly, and it's very tiring to try and keep up with it. But at the same time, I have been what I thought was late to the party, where everyone knew it but me. And that was Rails in 2013. I'm
Yep.
learning because a client literally wouldn't hire me unless I learned
Yep.
Rails. So it's like, all right, let me go learn this thing. And there's just thousands of blog posts to choose from and tutorials and YouTube videos. And I knew people at the time um, who were traveling the world teaching Rails to companies. I'm like, damn, I am
Yeah.
way behind.
Well, and
But
I guess is there there's a little bit of like a juxtaposition. So when you were late to the party, there was like all this content to choose from. But now that
mhm.
you're early to the party, like there might be some content, but is it like you said, it's going out of date so fast. So like what are you relying on to learn now that you're early to the party instead of like
Yeah.
this massive like slew of blog posts?
Yeah, timestamps on blog posts are a really big deal right now because I got to make
Yeah,
sure, like, okay, if this was from 6 months ago and it contradicts this one from 3 months ago, I'm probably going to believe the one from 3 months ago.
fair.
That's a challenge. Just making sure that I'm comparing like when things came from. But then there's just so much hype and clickbait that doesn't actually provide any value, and that's
Yeah,
a much bigger challenge now than it was back then.
true.
um, that the algorithms reward certain keywords, but don't reward content that actually, tells you anything.
Do you think you run into like people who are just trying to do the buzzword thing and don't have anything necessarily good to say, or not good to say, but like valuable to say often
Plenty.
then? Is it a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
people who have no idea what they're talking about and just want to put it out there?
Yeah. And I've actually come across a couple blog posts. It's only happened twice, but a couple blog posts that were like, okay, this is most of what I read 2 days ago on a totally different website. And it's just repackaged by someone else um, trying to get those clicks.
Yeah. I guess is plagiarism an issue now? Or
I would,
with I didn't think about that, but yeah, because I'm sure that there are ways to rewrite things in such a way that it doesn't seem like plagiarism, but it totally is. So because I know there
yeah.
are tools to check for that, but yeah, there's so much out there that like if you see this person and not that person, then how do you know the difference? So it's just sort of an observation.
Yeah. So, when I learned WordPress, I got a lot of really bad advice. There was people who told me like, HTML and CSS, you can learn WordPress, no problem.
Mm,
And,
yeah,
I found out the hard way that no, WordPress is written in PHP. And then you also have to
mhm,
understand databases and you also have to understand the Apache HTTP server. Like there was so much that I was not prepared for
yeah,
when, people were like, oh yeah, it's the next natural thing from HTML and CSS. So, I kind of got the same vibe when I said, okay, I'm going to learn this AI infrastructure stuff. I got a lot of people telling me, it's not much different from microservice architecture. It's like, dude,
as
it is
such
a
it is.
lot different. It is so different
Yeah,
from microservice. So like the concerns are different. The tooling is different. The promotion life cycle is different. Like there's a lot that's different about it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, like you said,
so
even the observability of like what you're looking for is very different.
yes, exactly. So, it's way more complicated than I had anticipated. So I guess that's, but even 17 years in, something's
Yeah,
complicated, you can still underestimate how complicated.
I can imagine. Oh man. Yeah, well, especially if it's something so new, like we've been talking about, like AI is just on the cusp of like becoming popular, I guess, or on the cusp of being more widely adopted, and there's
Yeah,
just so much to learn. Yeah.
there is. And the community is still extremely small. So
Yeah.
the amount of people that can actually speak to this with expertise and knowledge and experience, not a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's why you don't have a lot of sources to learn from right now.
Exactly.
Hey, you're on the cutting edge. Well, actually, that's something that I have an ask for you. Will you be writing blog posts, or have you already, of things that you've learned from the AI infrastructure side of things?
Not blog posts, but videos. I really,
Videos are
so
great.
when I was doing a blog, I just kept on writing in the same post and did not know how to break things up.
Yeah,
So I switched last year to do YouTube videos and I love it. So that's where I'm going to focus my time.
excellent. I will be sure to link that in the show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put that in there in case anyone's interested. So,
Cool.
so what else?
No AI infrastructure videos yet. I
Okay,
should say that.
I was just going to
But
ask that.
yeah, mostly code and cloud engineering, some CNCF projects. I do
Yeah,
talk a bit about Spelthos in those videos. So you can check those out if you want to know more about what Spelthos is and how it works.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where my knowledge will be shared is on my YouTube channel.
Excellent. Well, yeah, we'll be sure to share that, and I'm gonna go check out your videos after this, and I'll
Cool.
let you know feedback. I don't know.
Yeah, please do.
Tell you
I'm
what,
always open to
tell
feedback.
you what I learned.
All right. I'm also always open to requests. I do take requests
Okay,
and I do make videos off of requests. So
good to know.
there you go.
Yeah, so if anybody out there is looking to learn anything like cloud-based or AI infrastructure or MCP, like anything, or I guess
I
requests means
mean,
anything, you
so
can say
far
no.
I haven't received any requests that I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Um,
Okay, that's fair.
so far, I guess that's a
Cool.
challenge
Well,
to all
yeah,
the listeners out there.
yeah. Let's see if we can stump Colin.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Please don't do that. I feel like I'm missing something.
No, sir. Take your time.
Oh, platform engineering for data scientists. Does that relate to like your AI infrastructure and your MCP learning, this whole
It
platform
does.
engineering? Okay. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
can you elaborate on that too?
sure. So, and this is where like the disciplines kind of need to mesh very well, because data scientists are not good at cloud engineering and I'm not good at data science. So we have to constantly be talking to each other to make sure that they have an environment to build, test, run, tweak, observe everything around their models, right? They know that there are tools out there that they should be using, but it's really hard for them to, in some cases, set that up locally, but even set that
Yeah,
up in a cloud environment, right? They're not going to open up Terraform or OpenTofu and start building out cloud. They're probably not going to manage a Kubernetes cluster. So that's all on me to provide that for them, right? And even especially as people, like there's obviously a lot of people moving into AI, from
mhm,
other disciplines that have never done anything technical before. So they kind of look at it as, okay, will someone please provide me a Jupyter notebook? And
yeah,
then will someone please provide me integration into these data sets? And okay, now I've got my Jupyter notebook. I want to turn this into a production application. What do I do? Right. So providing all those tools, for people so that they can do their thing that actually does provide value to the company, right? Without having to worry about, okay, install this, make sure that you've got network connectivity here, make sure it's secure in this way and compliant in that other way. That's effectively what I'm doing.
is it almost like adjacent to supporting and enabling developers? Now you're supporting and enabling data scientists who work with the AI models and all of the goodness that comes with all of that.
Yeah, I would say, it's a little harder because developers tend to be eager to understand their runtime environments. Not that data
Yeah,
scientists aren't across the board, but they're also managing a lot of complex concepts, and
yeah.
that's a lot to add to their plate, on top of the math and algorithms and other stuff that I will never know
Yeah,
what
it's a
they're
pretty
even
big
talking about.
cognitive load.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And when they start talking about algorithms, that were published in papers, that's when I just tune out. It's like, okay,
Like,
I'm
I
I'm
can
not
provide
gonna.
you all of this complicated stuff, but I will not understand that complicated stuff. Is that it?
Exactly. Yes.
Cool. Um,
So I think if there's one takeaway I want people to have, it's, um, it doesn't get easier. You just get more comfortable with it not getting easier, right? Tech is
yeah,
hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would be doing it. We
True.
wouldn't have a shortage of cloud engineers or DevOps engineers or AI engineers, right? It would be everywhere. Everyone would be doing it. So it's okay for this not to be natural for us. It's okay for
Hmm.
this not to come, immediately as like, oh, light bulb moment. Of course, move on to the next thing. No, it doesn't work that way. And it's not going to.
Yeah.
I think, we see people who are successful and we think, wow, they get it. I wish I could be like that. Well, for me at least, it was nights, long nights of black coffee and wondering if I made horrible life choices and, will I ever get this? There was a point I told my wife I was never going to learn JavaScript. Like I really
Yeah.
was convinced that it was a language I would never wrap my head around. And then I still went on to build my career on it. So
Yeah. I was gonna say, what did you say to her? Did she bring it up whenever you started learning it? Like you said.
I actually mentioned it to her a couple weeks ago and she was like, yeah, I don't remember you saying that. Sorry.
She's like sort of
Yeah,
listening. Yeah.
yeah, but I did. I remember that because I had bought books. I had tried the online learning, and back in 2014, online learning was awesome. But
Yeah.
I tried a lot of different ways to learn it, and I just could not wrap my head around it. But then one day it clicked, and yeah, I took it from there and became a front end developer.
Yeah, and I guess I think you mentioned this already, but just to reiterate, like that time of when it clicks can be different for everybody.
Mhm.
Because I know, and even different between languages and different frameworks and things that you're learning. Because, like, I guess for me, like JavaScript came relatively easily. Python has been a little bit more challenging for me. I don't know why. And then even the DevOps engineering has been, it doesn't come the first time, and so you
Mhm.
have to keep repeating and keep practicing real world. But yeah, just to reiterate that it can be different each time, each person. Oh, I want to go back to the point that you said about the black coffee nights. Do
Mhm.
you still do that, like now that you're learning something new, or are you sort of able to incorporate it into your day job? How do you balance that right now?
It's a little bit of both. I don't. I am now too old to stay up late, so I wake up early. So even if I didn't want to, my dogs wake me up at 5. Um, and so that's my time to. There is black coffee involved, but that's my time before anyone else wakes up, where I'm just doing my thing, reading books, reading tech books sometimes, taking a Udemy course, getting hands on with tutorials, things like that.
Mm,
But I do get time at work now also to learn this stuff because it's part of my job to actually learn this stuff. So,
yeah, yeah. I was wondering
yeah.
with Cisco, I'm sure there's like, all the big companies are trying to figure out how to add AI, so I'm sure that they would support you figuring out how to do the AI infrastructure on the
Yes.
job.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, I think we kind of already mentioned what you want to leave people with, but is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
Um, Totally unrelated.
Yeah,
Uh, Start contributing to open source early and often. That is
yeah.
something that I wish I had gotten into earlier in my career.
Are you doing that now then, or
I am, yeah. I actually just opened a PR, still waiting for approval, but I opened a PR this morning on an open source project.
nice?
So, yeah.
What are you working on if you don't mind sharing?
So the commit today, yesterday, and last week were all to Project Steltos, which is a multi-cloud add-on manager or a multi-cluster add-on manager in Kubernetes.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
yeah, it's actually a really, really, really cool project. Did a couple weeks ago, committed some documentation to an, one of the Nats repos. I don't remember which one. Nats is you can think of it high level as a competitor to Kafka. Um,
Mhm.
I've contributed to OPA, Open Policy Agent, plenty of times. So, yeah, I really wish I had gotten to that earlier and made more time for it. So,
Yeah,
do that.
it's been on my radar. Personally, I wanted to do it early and often, but I jumped into this side project that I've been working on for the last 2 years. We're almost to alpha launch,
Hey, all
so
right.
hopefully that'll be, yeah, it's exciting. But hopefully,
Nice.
like once that sort of wraps up, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time open source. So for all of you listeners out there, check out some open source projects. And I guess I should also mention that it doesn't always have to be engineering. So if you're not an engineer or you're still early to the engineering game, like there are documents that can be updated, designs that can be used. There's a lot of other things that can be done too, just to put that out.
I would say that there is no documentation that is fully complete right now. None. Period.
I'm sure. Yeah, anywhere. I know starting the new job, I've been reading a lot of documentation, and there's a lot that like I'll bring up to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that's out of date. Like, don't look at that one, look at this one. And I'm like, okay. There's a lot of documentation gaps everywhere. So
agreed.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure and a joy to finally chat with you. We've met on LinkedIn several times, but never actually connected. So this has been wonderful. And again, thank you for coming and sharing.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
That's it for this commit of the Work in Progress podcast. If you liked it, please hit follow, leave a review, or share it with another human who's figuring things out too. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and keep showing up, even if it's still a draft. Until next time, keep iterating.